How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about our first 5-star of version 2.3, and by far one of my favorite characters ever since we set foot in Panacani, which is going to be Firefly. Now, Firefly looks like she's going to be an absolutely amazing character. Definitely a new addition to the break effect meta that we're seeing ourselves slowly build up as time goes by, as we've seen with REHOO coming out, Shui Yi coming out, HMC coming out, and now even Boo Hill coming into the mix as well. There's so many things that we're now building up into now that we have a new archetype of teams. Of course, we had already had Dot, now we had follow-up, and now we have break effect in its own type of deal. So this is very exciting to see that we're getting another unit that's being put into this team, because I do feel while Boo Hill is really nice and does an absurd amount of damage, I think Firefly does make up for a lot of the things that some of what Boo Hill doesn't have in his kit and she has it in her kit. And we might even see some crazier stuff when we end up looking at her full kit when it comes to her having her traces and all that different type of stuff. So before we get into all that, make sure you leave a like, comment, sub, all that different type of stuff, and let me know how excited you are for Firefly. But going on to talk about Firefly really quickly before we get into her actual kit, to talk about the stuff that we see on the highlights page, which we don't usually get from the stream. We are going to see that when she's in her ultimate, she turns into the combustion state, and this enhances her abilities, which allows her to get more break capabilities, more break damage, and also can deal more toughness reduction to enemies that aren't even weak to fire, which is very important for a break effect character to have, because I feel like if you don't have an implant, or if you don't have something to make sure that you're forcing yourself onto that enemy, break effect characters kind of lose their appeal, or they lose their power, because most of their damage comes from either super break or they come from having the break do a crap ton of damage. As we've seen with Boo Hill, his super break damage is absolutely absurd, and his break damage as well. So you want to make sure that you're somehow forcing your implant on them at all times, and that's where her kit is going to shine. And if I look to the side real quick, it's because I am looking at some notes that I did make about what they gave us for Firefly, just so I can refer back to it. But when I talk about how they make sure that we have as many ways as possible to force the fire implant, she's able to implant whenever she does her technique, and it is a domain. So when a thing is a domain or a technique is a domain, every enemy in every wave, no matter how many times you are applying it, almost all the enemies are going to have a fire implant on them by force. And this is a really great thing for Firefly, specifically because she is going to be an AoE unit. When you're in her ultimate, you are going to be able to do adjacent damage, and it does a crap ton of what I'm assuming is going to be toughness reduction, because you do get an increased amount when you are in the complete combustion state. And not only that, it is pretty quick when you get back into your ult, because when you use your skill, you will be reducing your own HP, but in the meantime, with that happening, you will be getting more energy to get yourself into that combustion state so that you can do more DPS. Now, you don't have to worry about losing the HP as much, just because when you look at Firefly and you also look at how she's able to lower her HP, she also has the allied ability to be able to take less damage the lower she is in HP, which makes it so that you're not in those sticky situations where she might end up KOing when an enemy taps her, which hopefully that's not the case. And going into ultimate, like I said, the combustion state will enhance your skills, and you will be able to do way more breaking this efficiency and also have more break, which is going to be super strong. And not only including that, you are going to see yourself being able to implant fire onto the enemies you're using your skill on. So this is a lot faster, specifically because this allows you to be able to do this without necessarily having to wait for your ult 100%, because you're able to apply this without your ult, if you understand what I'm trying to say, because Boo Hill needs his ult to implant, and he has his technique to implant, which is a one-time use. Firefly, as long as she's in her ultimate, she's able to apply it as much as possible. So the more actions that we get with Firefly, the more that's possible with this character, and the more damage you could probably do, leading to breaks, leading to super break, and all that different type of stuff. This is overall super exciting. So before we get into all that, let's go ahead and start talking about the characters that are probably going to do very well with Firefly. And I'm 100% sure y'all already know most of the characters that are probably going to be good with her. REHOO, her rerun buddy, is by far going to be a god tier character for Firefly. She is just going to allow her to have so many different ways to be able to get buffed up from REHOO. Not only do we have the Watchmaker set as one of the things that you could put on REHOO to be able to help with damage for Firefly, you also have a lot of other ways to buff out Firefly with REHOO, with giving extra penetration, extra damage, extra speed, which again, talking about how she's going to be in her ult state, you want to give her as many times as possible to attack, and Ruame helps with that, giving the break effect boost, the speed boost, the penetration, the delay for super break. Overall, Ruame is going to be Firefly's best friend when it comes to being able to work out with a teammate. Other characters that are probably going to do very good with Firefly, I'm 100% sure you can understand that we are going to be looking at characters like Bronya and possibly even Sparkle. We have no idea if she's going to work the way Boo Hill works, where you kind of want to prioritize break effect and speed way more than crit rate and crit damage. We'll have to wait and see for when we get to showcase her. But for the most part, any character that can advance forward another unit is going to be a really good pairing for Firefly, because if you're in that ult state and you want to get as many actions as you possibly can when it comes to before you lose your combustion state, so you're going to be losing that enhanced skill, that implant, you want to get as many times as possible that you possibly can get when it comes to having a teammate and helping out Firefly get as many possible turns. So someone like Sparkle, someone like Bronya, these are definitely going to be two characters that are 100% going to want to be on the team if you want to give Firefly the most actions possible while she's in her ultimate, and also while she's trying to build it up, being able to advance her forward, being able to make it so that there's less downtime when she's from her lowered state to her ult state. And another character that a lot of people should be very excited for, that she or he is on the banner with Firefly, that is going to be Gallagher 1000%. I think Gallagher is such an amazing unit, and definitely a good character to run, especially if you somehow got Eidolons to be able to get to E2, where you're able to remove debuffs, which is really strong for his skill. And not only that, you also can get an extra besotted state turn, which allows for more healing for the team. And then not only that, when you get to E6, you get to increase Gallagher's break effect, which allows him to heal more and do more break damage, but also get the weakness break efficiency up. When I tell you, having Gallagher, Ruame on the same team, Gallagher can almost take away half of a boss's toughness bar by himself on ultimate, and you gotta remember that he advances himself forward, so he gets another turn with all of this weakness break efficiency boost onto it as well. So you're doing so much toughness damage, and then guess what? You have Ruame helping out with the toughness efficiency as well, and then you have Firefly coming to the mix, and you have these characters doing super break with HMC probably. And that's another character we have to talk about as well, which is when you have all these characters together, Gallagher, Ruame, possibly even Bronya and Sparkle, we can't forget about her partner in crime, which is HMC. I think HMC is a very important character to look at when it comes to not only building him up for Firefly, but the fact that all these break effect characters really like super break. These are free damage that you're getting, and especially coupled up with Ruame, can prove to be some absolutely disgusting pairings. And not only that, when you have some of his Eidolons, you also have multiple different ways to be able to increase the break effect, not only from Ruame's talents, but also from Harmony Trailblazer's talents as well, from his E4, and also from his ultimate as well. So there's many different ways to be able to give break effect to Firefly, and give her a crap ton of other options as well when it comes to either buffing out her damage, delaying the enemies, advance forward, even HMCs, I guess you could say super break as well. There's just a lot of different options that Firefly has at the current moment, and is really incentivized onto helping him out with the damage that she's going to be able to do, the actions she's able to do. Her being AoE allows her to take care of multiple enemies at the same time. So I really want to see how many actions can we squeeze out of Firefly when it comes to having her on the field in her ultimate, and how strong her breaks are going to be, because yes, if I'm not wrong, Fire has one of the weaker end of the breaks that we have at the current moment, or weaker dots, I think. I don't remember how exactly that worked. I know Wind and Physical are up at the top, so someone like Boo Hill is going to have something stronger of a break compared to someone like Firefly. So we're going to have to definitely see how much damage she's doing on her own break, how much damage she's doing when it comes to being able to implant, break them, and then start super breaking them, which characters are going to allow her to do the most amount of damage. And I think that's pretty much it when it comes to Firefly and some of the team business she's going to run. Of course, looking at Firefly and what relics, we have a new relic set dedicated for break and super break, so that's going to be for her. Same thing with the platinum ornaments. If I'm not wrong, there's also a platinum ornament set that is dedicated to her as well. And then to talk about the last thing, which is going to be the destruction light cones, 100% with the destruction path. We already have a herd of light cone shop cone, which is actually going to play pretty good into Firefly, which when we look at it is whenever the wearer attacks, they increase their attack by 8%. Really nice already. And then after that, this effect is stacked up to 4 times. And after a character inflicts weakness break on an enemy, the wearer's damage increases by 12% per 2 turns. So let's see if we go into the future and we play with Firefly and we try Fall of an Aeon. Is it going to help with the super break damage? Is it going to help with the break damage period? Or is Firefly just going to be doing some godly type of damage regardless, and this is going to boost it even further? I think this is already a really good substitution to have at the moment, and then I think this also works as well as because we know that she's going to consume her own HP for her skill. I wonder if Sam's 4-star light cone is actually going to be a really good alternative as well if you for some reason can't use the Herder Shop light cone onto Firefly or Sam, whichever one you want to say. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about Firefly. I'm super excited for her to come out. And other than that, that's going to be it for this video. So see y'all guys in the next one. Thank you so much for staying all the way to the end of the video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, sub, all the different types of stuff. See y'all guys in the next one. And peace.